Yo, what is up, folks? MTG here, and you think Dredge couldn't get more chaotic, but I do have a new, I think, pretty sweet, pretty wild take on Dredge for Pioneer and MTG Arena Explorer, and that is combining your like Prized Amalgam stuff with some Jigras, some Culture Familiars, and Cat combo. So first, let's get into like the Dredge side of the deck we still have here. We have Prized Amalgam. It comes back if you have another creature come back from your graveyard. Okay, neat. We have Creeping Chill here. Gains you 3 life when you mill through it. Drains your opponent for 3 as well. And then we have Silvermoon Ghoul. Beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, it returns Silvermoon Ghoul from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This in turn triggers Prized Amalgam. We are passing up on Narcomoeba here in this slot, which can be like a really awkward draw in the deck. It's like, it's only ever good when you're milling over it, basically. But is like, quote unquote, free. But we're cutting that to make space for Cat combo. And so, while like Narcomoeba like triggers Prized Amalgam for free, one thing that also triggers Prized Amalgam is Cauldron Familiar. Familiar with Cat Oven from forever and forever, but obviously, sacrifice a food, return Cauldron Familiar from your graveyard to the battlefield, enters, each opponent loses life, you gain a life, and then Witch's Oven, like, hey, sacrifice the cat, bring the cat back, triggers Prized Amalgam, brings it back from the graveyard. Awesome. Also, helps you trigger Silvermoon Ghoul. Not just like you're not potentially if you have a bunch of Witch's Ovens in play, you can gain a bunch of life, but also like, hey, Witch's Oven makes food, sacrifice for 3 life. That brings the Silvermoon Ghouls back, which brings the Prized Amalgams back, even if you don't have that stuff online. Not only that, but Witch's Oven also interacts really well with other parts of the deck. One of the ways we're milling ourselves is Stitchers Supplier here. Enters or dies mills 3 cards. Often, the first step to get 3 cards is easy, you just play it. But often your opponent's like, I'm not going to attack into that. Or it just leaves it sitting in play. Or you're playing against like a control deck, and you can just leave this 1/1 in play and take 1 a couple of times. But here we can Witch's Oven and mill ourselves for 3. Okay, cool. This is why the Cauldron Familiar stuff is good in the deck. And I've actually played like Cat Dredge before. And so what we're actually splashing in here is the Jigra combo. If you're not familiar already, Jigra, there's other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types, and have the food sacrifice ability. But importantly, this means that like a Cauldron Familiar in play would be a food, and if you had a Cauldron Familiar in play and a Cauldron Familiar in your graveyard, you could sack the one in play to bring them back the one from your graveyard. Enter the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life, and then you can do that again, and again, and again, and again, and again, drain your opponent for every minute. That's assembling the combo. But we're not really casting the Jigra. It's not impossible. We have like we have lands that can cast the green. Getting there is pretty difficult mana-wise. We're playing 18 lands. And while we can go later in the game and do that, we're generally trying to bring it back to the graveyard, which is where Scavengers Talent comes in. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control die, create a food token. Ability triggers only once per turn, but we're triggering that with like Witch's Oven. We have some other things going on here. Obviously, things trade away or your opponent removes stuff. The second step for 1 in a black, you level it up. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. Which plays, of course, perfectly into our mill plan, or our dredge plan. Mill through Amalgam, mill through Silvermoon Ghoul, mill through Creeping Chill. Okay, all that stuff sounds really, really good. The third step is how we're bringing back Jigra. 2 in a black. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice 3 other non-land permanents. If you do return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, we bring that to Jigra, and then hopefully we've got 2 Cauldron Familiars between our graveyard and our battlefield, and we can flip-flop them to infinite our opponent. Okay. But the combo is kind of like the icing on the cake. The rest of the deck just works well together anyway. And so around these elements, we have Otherworldly Gaze and Tome Scour as some blue enablers. While Stitchers Supplier is like nice and is very, very good with Witch's Oven, and we have the Scavengers Talent for the extra mill effects here, which we can trigger with Witch's Oven. These helps, well, Otherworldly Gaze helps smooth out our draws, helps us find the right elements of our deck, while also obviously enabling our dredge stuff. And Tome Scour is the most cards for the least amount of mana. Blue for Tuck Player mills 5 cards. Ideally gets us like a fast start. If you hit like Silvermoon Ghoul or Creeping Chill, or those with like Prized Amalgam, you're immediately bringing back into play a bunch of power as early as turn 1, which is really, really nice. Otherworldly Gaze also is an instant. You can cast it on your upkeep to help you find specific stuff. Obviously, this flashback if you melt through something else. It's just the best dredge enabler in Pioneer, in my opinion. Supplier, Talent, Cauldron Familiar, Witch's Oven, we've already talked about, alongside Witch's Oven, which is obviously our primary way of sacrificing creatures. It's not the only way. We have Souls Lost here. 1 in a black. As initial cost to cast a spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. This is another way to trigger Stitchers Supplier's kind of like backside, and also is a way to discard like a Jigra that you have in your hand, or like a Prized Amalgam or Silvermoon Ghoul that gets stranded there, and get it into the graveyard. Not only that, it is a 2 mana, potentially really, really big threat. Power equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and toughness equal to that number +1. It can get really big very, very quickly. So it does a bunch of enabling stuff for the deck, and then is also a threat that your opponent has to deal with. Cool. Silver Ghoul, this is another way for us to sacrifice, potentially, to trigger the Scavengers Talent. If you've gained 3 more life in the turn, return from the graveyard to the battlefield, but also 1 in the black to sacrifice it to draw a card. Potentially, if you're getting wrath, if you need some extra sacrifice triggers, to be able to trigger like Scavengers Talent on your opponent's turn, you can like sacrifice it. You get the food from the Scavengers Talent ability. You get the mill effect. You get to draw a card off the Silvermint Ghoul. You then sacrifice the food on your next turn to bring back the Silvermint Ghoul with all the other stuff. But yeah, or potentially this is a way you're going to get to 3 non-land permanents to get the Jigra back. Obviously, you need 3 non-land permanents to sacrifice, but they can be tokens. They can be like food tokens. Flyers can be the talent. Oh, can't be the talent. It is other non-land permanents. My bad. I played with enough sacrifice. I should know that. Anyway, the 4 Creeping Chills, the 2 Jigras, and then the mana base is a bit awkward. Playing 4 Mana Confluence here, this is a bit of a shout out to be having to like potentially cast Jigra. You could give up on this and just play blue backlands and be a bit more consistent. But I was like, hey, we'll play the green lands. Maybe we get flooded out and we have to cast it. In addition to these, we're playing Agadeem's Awakening here. X black, return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that have a different mana value, X or less. So you cast it for 3, which is like 6 mana. Then you get to bring back like Stitchers Supplier, Souls of the Lost, Prized Amalgams. You cast it for 2, you get to bring back Stitchers Supplier, Souls of the Lost. It's a little upside, but it's a bit expensive, especially when paying a little bit like life. I thought I'd try it out here. One thing I will say is that I was trying to work out if I could put together a solid mono black version of the deck, or like black splashing green for like the Jigra stuff, to be able to cast this with like Deadly Dispute and some other like black mill cards. There are just not enough good black mill cards. There's no other real like 1 mana enablers that do more than like 2 cards. Like black creature, mill 2 cards, no other real text that's relevant isn't really good enough. These just get you so much further, and so this is a bit of a holdover from me trying out the mono black version, but I still think it is like some upside to it playing it. Aside from that, yeah, the 4 Mana Confluences, and then 4 Shores, 4 Graves, 2 each of Blooming Marsh and Botanical Sanctum, and 1 Takanuma. Again, it may be sensible to just play blue backlands here, but we're experimenting at the minute. We're in the trial stage. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, I'm going to take this into some best of 1 ranked. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Would really, really appreciate it. Do like, share the video around. All the algorithm stuff helps me out a ton, helps support the channel. And yeah, let's get into some games. All right, first match here with the Cat Combo Dredge deck. What I know a lot of people want to see best of 3 stuff, and I really appreciate that. However, this is a real like spur of the moment. I just really want to try this thing out, see if I can get it to work. And then also, we're playing Dredge. Best of 3 isn't necessarily where it excels. I do have some best of 3 Dredge content kind of planned. I was gonna record a video. Ooh, these are so tough. I think we do want to mulligan this. We don't have a great way to trigger this. Though if we draw into one, it like looks really good. I'm gonna mulligan. All right, we'll keep this. I'll put the Silver Ghoul on the bottom, and the sound is like pretty solid. We also don't have to worry about sequencing witching of them first, because like if they kill the Stitchers Supplier, we just get the trigger anyway. Yeah, I was saying I did have some best of 3 Dredge content played. I was going to play in the qualified play-in with it, the best of 3 one, but then like was at FNM and then got back at like midnight and was like, I don't want to play Magic for another 4 hours. So all planning on my part, but also I really wanted to play some Green Sun Zenith tonight, the Reliquary. Yeah. But hey. Yeah, the whole thing planned with like a transformational Dredge deck where you just like it's optimized to transform into a mill deck post board. So I'm gonna play out both Witch's Ovens here. And we have to hope that they don't have a Nykthos. I'm gonna main phase sack the let's attack. Get in the red zone first. And then we're incentivized to main phase sacrifice the Stitchers Supplier, because if we hit Silvermint Ghoul only triggers on our turn and does not trigger on our opponents. Okay, we see Creeping Chill. Alright. I will go ahead Getting a cat is kind of nice. I'm gonna set a stop on their second main phase, which is like a weird place to have one, because in theory they could pass through and we'd do something they could act, but it means that our Prized Amalgam will come back on their end step instead of our turn. You can avoid this by doing this. The other thing I'm going to do here is set a stop on my upkeep for this otherworldly gaze. So we can do an upkeep if need be. Okay, so we've got Kiora. They're on 14 right now. They're going to untap. Okay, so they have an elf to play. They do. Okay, we'll get priority here. We're going to activate. Bring back Ultra Familiar. This is a trigger Prized Amalgam. And then we kind of may as well go through this. I'm happy enough, the current state of things, to attack through. We can make the decision on attacking through. It's not like we're like saving for Mayhem Devil or anything like that. We can decide whether we want to attack with the Cauldron Familiar on our turn. Yeah, they're on 12. We get a Prized Amalgam back. Do we want to cast this? So if we don't cast this, we get to cast the Witch's Oven. I think I would like to do this. No, I'm going to take a draw step. Okay. Are we drew the... Immediately rewarded. I'll cast the Scavengers Talent. I'm also going to just show this Witch's Oven now. The reason why this is particularly good is that we can penalty, like, if they decide to trade with a Cauldron Familiar here, we still get the food token off the back of this. Okay. I have the option to play this as a land here. I think at this point we do this. There's definitely an option to pay the life here and level this up rather than play the second Witch's Oven. I will do one of these now to make sure we get to trigger the Scavengers Talent ability on both our turn and our opponent's turn. And then I'm going to end turn for now. Alright. That's all they have. Okay, so they're on the slow end of things. They might besage you here. Okay, no, they're going to skip it up. But they're kind of dead to Cauldron Familiar activations anyway. Yeah, just to note, if we... I kind of blanked on it at the time, but if we just like paid the 3 life Vagabond's Awakening there and cast Scavengers Talent and just leveled it up, we'd have 2 Witch's Ovens in play and be able to just mill a bunch with Cauldron Familiar and the Witch's Oven both sacrificing to trigger the Scavengers Talent step. We'd have just like milled ourselves for 8. But we have them pretty dead anyway, so hey. But one to remember. New deck, new deck. Alright, so far so good. So far so good. We're doing a little bit of learning. So we have both the Stilvenmote Ghoul and a Creeping Chill in hand. However, we also have 2 enablers with Otherworldly Gaze, Stitchers Supplier, and the Souls of the Lost for the second half of Stitchers Supplier. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Creeping Chill being stuck in your hand isn't the literal worst. You can cast this, and it is like a lightning helix to your opponent's face still. And it can potentially Stilvenmote Ghouls, things Stilvenmote Ghouls in the graveyard. It also means that we have the potential here, and we'll see what we hit with the Stitchers Supplier. But we could, like, in theory, discard a Stilvenmote Ghoul to the Souls of the Lost. Okay, we hit Cauldron Familiar. Interesting. One other card that is, like, permanently, like, etched in my brain is that there is a Ox, like a 3 and a white, 3/3, and just says, when you discard it, make a food. And I'm just constantly thinking about it. Like, that and I think it's Overchased Daredevil. It's like, when an artifact enters, return it from your grave to your hand. I'm like, how can we do some, like, Tortured Existence style stuff with that? But, yeah. So, Stitchers Supplier, or we're going to attack. That bit is certain. And it's whether we get the mill here, or we could maybe just, like, cast this. I'm going to set a stop my upkeep for the Otherworldly Gaze here. I think given the context of our hand, I would rather... It was really dumb. But given, like, they're playing like a Cavern of Souls deck, naming human, I think we discard a card. Because we should be able to get the Stitchers Supplier trigger anyway. Now, if we get to the, if we hit the 4th land to cast the Creeping Chill, we get this back, But we have like a giant blocker in play, and like something else we want to block with. And potentially just a giant attacker. We're going to get to mill ourselves a bunch here anyway. The plan currently is to Otherworldly Gaze on upkeep to find our kind of next thing to do. Barley is annoying, for sure. Still do this, because there's very little few like creature things we can find here. So we find a Scavengers Talent, which is like pretty good. but not perfect. We can also just like try and beat down with the Souls of the Lost here. They're at 19. It might be correct to mill these, leave Water Grave on top. No, I'm gonna go all the cards in the bin. Right. Let's see what we draw. Okay, we get rewarded. We draw an oven. I'm gonna attack with. I think I'll leave the Stitchers Supplier back. It's not unlikely that they have a way to exile this with like a brutal Cathar or something like that. I'm gonna play the Aghanim's Awakening. That. T-Chrome Coast. Sure. Oh, all this guy's like a Reflector Mage. That'd be really weird. It comes back to our hand, but then okay, no. Thales Tenant makes sense. And we will I want to block. We have the Witch Summon in hand. I'll let this through. Interesting. They're on 13. 1, 2, 3. It's like very close to being something crazy. I'm gonna shock the combat. I have both of these. Still they do. We're at 15 currently. They're gonna say no blocks. I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice the supplier. Ooh, fully rewarded. That's not quite just game. We're at 15. I think our best bet here is actually to just sack this to bring back this. The Ghoul and Prized Amalgams. We have Amalgam, Ghoul in the graveyard. We'll have access to the other stuff later. They're on 3 anyway. If we draw a land, we hit the Creeping Shell. 2. Initiate, that can blow up the Witch's Oven. But they can't really afford to spend loads of... Ooh, that's not lethal though, is it? No. Checking maths. 8, 13. Thank goodness we gain life. That's one too many. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, solid 2-0 start here. See how our luck continues to fare. Double Souls of Lost is interesting. The Cauldron Familiar, I think we keep this. Because we can like sacrifice or discard the Cauldron Familiar to Souls of Lost. Oh, my client is being a bit of a pain. I'll just start and time scare ourselves here. What are you doing? Trying to emote, please. Oh gosh. Alright. We hit flip. We flip the Creeping Shell Submergible. That's good for us. We like that. I'm happy enough to just attack with us. If they're playing elves, we'd rather get their elves off the board than like trade away stuff. I'm gonna time scour us again. Okay. Let's play a Cauldron Familiar. We don't have like loads going on. Like this like 3-1's not gonna be able to attack through forever. Already our Cauldron Familiar is like stonewalled. Souls Lost here. Gonna do some stuff maybe. But if we don't draw any other kind of gas, then we may end up having to like sack some Ghoul, try and make some things happen. So if I have a 1-mana elf here, they can play off of... Yeah, Sentinel's like the worst possible, actually. They can trade with the token. Okay, this makes it a little better. But we need to work out what we're sacrificing to enable this. I guess I'm gonna... That's this. We'll attack with both, see how they block. Go ahead and do this. Leave some of the elf in play, which is like annoying, but we're gonna Watery Grave, and now we can sacrifice Cat with the Souls of the Lost here. Rather than be forced to discard the The problem with this is that, especially versus Eldritch Master, this 8/9 hasn't got evasion or anything. We don't have Wander like you would do in Historic or Timeless to give things flying if you've got islands. And so it's kind of, and even then they have a couple of reach blockers already. So we're a little at their mercy. Like seeing a decent amount of our deck. As I mentioned before, like we can sacrifice fees to prevent Silvermote Ghoul, but without either more Silvermote Ghouls on a graveyard, or without like Prized Amalgams in a graveyard, it's not really super worthwhile. Awkward times. And yeah, they can just chump block this by making an elf every turn, or like twice every turn cycle, if they get to like board or company. But we won't be worried about it for very long because we'll be dead. Art Druid, yeah, sure. Yeah, we're pretty much dead to this Art Druid activation with the 3Cs in play, depending on how much other stuff they can cast here. I haven't played elves in a while. I threw together a build. Oh, interesting. To play. Grab one of these tapped. This can stay here in case you draw like Scavengers Talent, I guess. That's interesting. That brings back like Stitchers Supplier. That's not up to much, to be honest. But we don't have a lot else going on. Probably better than playing second one of these out. We're still just dead to this stuff. If we Stitchers Supplier, what are we Stitchers Supplying into? Not a lot. Huh. Tap this, activate this. No, because they get 6 here. If they have another land, they still kill us. Let's go. No, let's do the thing. Let's get we mill. Yep, like actually we're gonna this is the actual plan. Okay, we're hitting Jigra. I'm gonna pass it. Because we need blockers. So at the moment we're not absolutely dead, but if they draw like Tyvar, or they called for Tyvar or accompany into Tyvar, then we are dead. Tyvar's not the card I'm no, it is Tyvar, right? I'm like, yeah, the new Tyvar. 1 green, and then 5 mana to activate to give all creatures you control +X +X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Maybe replace those words with elves. Can't be 100% sure. We're going Coco. Assuming they hit elves off of this, they're going to have enough mana to activate the War Master. Okay, Shaman of the Pack will definitely seal the deal. We will scoop it up to that. Alright, 2 and 1 after elves. Yeah, it was a bit of a lukewarm-ish hand. We maybe could have more than that one. This is an interesting one as well. We have Scavengers Talent with our like best enablers in the deck, with Witches Oven and Souls of the Lost. I think I am gonna keep this, but it is a slow hand. Drawing Creeping Chills is not gonna help much. I'm gonna leave with Scavengers Talent, I think. This lets us invest 2 mana into to get it like leveled up to the mode we want. We just... Oh, no, green white elves. Okay. We're kind of drawing down a little bit here. Game plan. Yeah, I think we just continue setting up, putting these into play. And then we see if we can draw good things next turn. Good things like a cat. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna be dead very, very quickly, I think. If one of the problems with angels in particular. It doesn't work, right? Like, we can do this, and this is what we kind of have to do. Just a little too slow here. Alright, we're seeing some inconsistency stuff come to root. We can like sack this to like make some food, but until we've got the mill effects online, we're not doing anything. So, big question. Do they have company? Do they have kindness reconstruction? Do they have angels? We're on 21 right now. If they get to 27, we die very, very quickly. But the problem is that like you can't really block the angel versus the angel deck. And on the flip side, they're also gaining a bunch of life. And like making big angels which block our creatures. So we do see a Coco here. What do we hit? What do we hit? What do we hit? Bishop of Wings, pretty good. That'll get them to 27. They have the Valkyrie of that online, which also means the Planet Royals get to attack. Yeah. We got a 2 if we let this hit us. I kind of want to do a thing. I miss maths before. I'm gonna level these up. We're gonna do it. Ow, we got a 3. I'm gonna sacrifice those are lost. Oh, we hit a Cauldron Familiar. Now we're really in business. We've not been close to Jigra comboing yet. But hey, we could have got there. Alright, we're at 4. We're a turn away. A turn away. Alright, last game. We are 2-2. We definitely, like, it's tough. That hand had a ton of potential, but it kind of similar to this one. Like, it's got, we have these cards. The Silver Ghoul and Prized Amalgams, so we should probably mulligan. These cards together look really, really good. We just need one more, like, creature. If we draw Stitchers Supplier, we're just all of a sudden just, like, winning the game. But we're a little too reliant. Here I'm going to keep 6. We'll bottom the Amalgam. We see a lot of the same cards, but with the Tome Scout, it's a bit more tempting, I think. And so we'll lead with that. Alright, let's see what we hit. Nothing, but yeah, no real buts here. Okay. I'm gonna play Scavengers Talent, which is Oven. Seeing Swamp implies that we can definitely get things discarded. Let's just get these out of the way. I'm gonna set us up on our upkeep as well, because we're thinking about this otherworldly gaze. If nothing else happens, we can play Witch's Oven, level up this, or play Witch's Oven after otherworldly gazing. Being able to level up this is maybe the one thing to not do this. I think I'm just going to take the draw step. We drew the Jigra, which is interesting. I'm going to shock myself here. They've gone Swamp. What are we up to? The problem is that we might just get our graveyard exiled. But I'm going to... No, we should do this and then do this when we need to. This is best practice to otherworldly gaze on our turn because of the Silver Ghoul thing. Okay. I'm gonna leave the Cauldron Familiar on top. That one's good. Unfortunately, not milled through a Silver Mogul. But hey. They see Jigra, they're like, huh, that's what's going on here. Which is interesting. We currently don't have a Cauldron in the graveyard. We are going to play one. I'm just going to level this up first, so they can't respond. And then I'll play this. And then again, because of the Silver Mogul stuff, it is better for us to do these things on our... well, not... this we could kind of do on their turn. We do see Silver Mogul. But importantly, we get to make the food here. I'm going to say go, and then we'll do another sacrifice round on their turn. Also, if they're way to exile the graveyard, we can kind of do some shenanigans a little bit. They have not cast a spell yet. Which implies they have like a handful of creature removal. But I'm a little... I see. This could happen. So from our perspective now, we have Cauldron Familiar stuff going on. They're gonna... oh, we're right on step. This is... like, we should have set the stop to be here on the second main. But this is fine. We're gonna mill ourselves. If we can find a second Cauldron Familiar here, that'll do it, I think. Brilliant. We'll mill ourselves a little bit more... of a... vulture? Alright. Oh, we see double Creeping Chill as well. Okay. I'm gonna bring one of these back and I'll leave one in our graveyard. But you can see that with these in play, we can just mill ourselves a bunch. Even if we didn't have the combo here, which we do, we'd still just be able to just mill ourselves and recur a bunch of Dredge stuff. So you can also play, I should say, this build with the Narcaniva type bits and pieces. I'm gonna go to ends up here. I'll sacrifice these three. We're gonna return Jigra. I'll start targeting them with this. Yeah, I'm gonna skip, but we can flip this up with this, and then again and again and again. Oh, hooray! We actually got a combo in the last game. Big. Yeah, I was like, last match, hopefully at least we get to hit the combo stuff, and we did get to find it there. But it showcases just how, not only like, oh yeah, we have this combo in the deck, that's super sweet. Because you can play this version of Dredge without the Jigra stuff. Cauldron Familiar is just very good in the deck. I think if I was playing... Scavengers Talent is a little awkward if you're not kind of all in on this kind of combo. So I would say you could play like 3 Cauldron Familiars, 4 Witch's Oven, and then like more traditional Dredge stuff. I've got like I have like 20 videos on Dredge decks, but there's some like cat variations in there without all these things. If you want to do the Jigra combo, I think you need the Scavengers Talent. But then you can also play like the 3 Cauldron Familiars, 4 Witch's Ovens, put the Narcomoebas back in, maybe take the Souls of Lost back out as well as these and these, make room for more enablers to be a bit more consistent. That's the one area where this version of the deck fails. It's the one reason why also that I'm not playing like a mono black build. I am still like, maybe there's a way to make the mono black version of this deck kind of work. Or like black and then like some green sources for Jigra. The upside of that being able to play like Deadly Dispute and making treasures to actually be able to cast this and then maybe play more copies is also quite interesting. Yeah, deck is super sweet. There are 1,000 different builds of Dredge, and none of them are particularly great in best of 3, unfortunately. See the sideboard open here. The one solution I have at the moment is boarding into Mill, but you have to kind of fine-tune your main deck in a way that's like conducive to that. I'm playing like 3 Silver Ghouls, and then I bought out like 4 Creeping Chills, 4 Prized Amalgams, 3 Ghouls, and then 4 Narcomoebas, and then bring in a whole 15-card package with like Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Jace Perfected Mind, and some other mill cards. But yeah, that's something for a different video maybe. Let me know in the comments if you want to see some best of 3 Dredge content. It'll be a bit painful. Like, game 1 you're meant to win, games 2 and 3 you're probably going to lose, but you want to try and grab one of them. Like, win game 1 hopefully, and then crawl your way through to get games 2 or get game 2 or 3. But hey, that's the nature of the deck. This build I think is super sweet. If you like cat combo stuff, then this is definitely like a pretty fun place to be, and a bit of a different take on it. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please do like, subscribe, share it around. All that stuff helps me out a ton. notifications. That'd be neat. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a great day.